Life moves fast, and so should the answers to your biggest questions. Welcome to Endo Batteries Quick Connect, your direct line to expert insights. Short, powerful, and right to the point. You send in the questions, I bring in the experts, and in just 5 minutes, you get the knowledge you need. No long episodes, no extra time needed. And just remember, expert opinions shared here are for general information and not for personalized medical advice. Always consult your provider for your case-specific guidance. Got a question? Send it in, and let's quickly get you the answers. I'm your host, Alana, and it's time to connect. Welcome back to Endo Battery. Grab your cup of coffee or your cup of tea and join me at the table. Today, I am honored to welcome Dr. Jennifer Gaudiani to the podcast. Dr. G is an international medicine physician and one of the world's leading experts on eating disorders. She's the founder of the Gaudiani Clinic in Denver, where she and her team provide compassionate, comprehensive care to people struggling with eating disorders and their medical complications. She's a certified eating disorder specialist, a fellow of the Academy for Eating Disorders, and the author of Sick Enough, a guide to medical complications of eating disorders, a groundbreaking book that changed how patients, families, and even other doctors understand this illness. What makes Dr. G's work especially powerful is her focus on populations often overlooked, people living with chronic illness, neurodivergence, and complex medical needs. She brings not only world-class expertise, but also deep compassion, and I couldn't think of anyone better to help us explore today's conversation. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Jennifer Gaudiani to the table. What would you quantify as an eating disordered or disordered eating? Because I think that maybe we hear these things and we think, oh, maybe it's just a challenging relationship with food, but there is some intersection there. Can you kind of explain that to us and break it down a little bit so we can understand it a little better?
Absolutely. I will try because while there are formal criteria for eating disorders, of course, the notion of disordered eating is very nebulous, and we have to contextualize it in the society we live in,
Right.
which is so diet culture focused.
Yes.
Everyone is talking about what they're no longer eating, not because it doesn't, sit well with their tummy or their body, but because, they think it's the right thing to do to avoid inflammation. I'm not eating this. I'm not eating that. I'm eating less of this. I'm only eating at these times a day. This is so normalized and typical in our society that even though I, as a very health privileged physician who specializes in eating disorders, would be like, no, all of that is disordered eating. It's so broadly found that people might be like, hey, are you just trying to pathologize me by telling me I've got a problem? And the answer is I want to be far gentler than that, but also kind of come back to really good science about what truly healthy eating is. And I use that H word real carefully because boy, is that a tricky word.
Yeah.
What I would say is that if there aren't physical impediments to nourishing, which of course many people have and many of your listeners have, I would say that normal eating means that you spend relatively little brain energy on what did I just eat and what I'm about to eat and what did I eat yesterday and what will I eat tomorrow. You pretty comfortably can listen to hunger and fullness cues, and you can nourish yourself with satisfying, tasty foods in a mindful way, reasonably consistently throughout the day, without much chatter or shame or fear that revolves around these topics, and that you can fuel yourself to do what your unique body wants to do that day. I would say that is sort of broadly speaking normal eating. And therefore, theoretically, I would say that anything outside of that could be disordered. That doesn't mean judgment. That doesn't mean someone with severe IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, who has to avoid a bunch of foods is like, oh, you have disordered eating and I'm judging you. It says, gosh, you must have to spend a lot more time and energy on how to fuel yourself. And you must suffer a lot more than other people when they can just bolt down a sandwich and go back to work, and you're trying to figure out how your tummy's going to do that day. Eating disorders, of course, have really formal criteria in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual 5 that follow certain criteria. But I think the focus of this talk is about folks who have gotten into a relationship with food and their bodies, whether or not, again, there's body image stuff involved, which, let's face it, if you were a human on the planet, probably there's some body image stuff involved because thin privilege is so powerful in our culture. But what I'd like to talk to is just the breadth of conditions that might lead somebody to have to spend so much time on how to feed themselves and how to deal with their body's reaction, and that they're not alone, they're not a mystery, and they can feel better.
That's a wrap for this Quick Connect. I hope today's insights helped you move forward with more clarity and confidence. Do you have more questions? Keep them coming. Send them in, and I'll bring you the expert answers. You can send them in by using the link in the top of the description of this podcast episode, or by emailing contact@endobattery.com or visiting the endobattery.com contact page. Until next time, keep feeling empowered through knowledge.